Thank you for joining me on ThinkTech Hawaii. I am Shayna Park, your host for Money Talks. The previous host was my mom, Shayna Park, and I am taking over the show. My guest is Brandon Lorezco, and we will be discussing Financial Literacy Month. Welcome to the show, Brandon.
Wow, awesome. I'm so glad to be here. Thank you, Shayna, for having me. I know you're going to do a great job hosting today.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm so glad to have you, a fellow Gen Z, to discuss about finances and how we're on the same boat right now.
Yes, I know it is National Financial Literacy Month. So it's just the right time to just talk about all the great concepts today and just, see how, talking about our finances and taking the time to learn it will be a huge game changer for our life.
Yeah, so I know that financial literacy has had a huge impact on your life. Can you please share with us how financial education has impacted you?
Yes, I do have my first slide. I want to talk about the impact of financial education. It has, talking about college funding and career planning in my last few shows with your mom, Shonda. I spent some time talking about scholarships, career planning. It has helped me get full tuition to my schooling and also getting 2 semesters abroad, getting an education. So, I got 2 years abroad getting an education. And, I'm so excited to just see how financial education has allowed me not to worry about taking too much loans for school. I also had the impact of traveling with family and friends. I think even for you, right, Shayna, you traveled with the company before with our campaign.
Yes, I feel so honored and blessed. Last year I went to Portugal and Spain with you, which was so incredibly fun. And I also had the opportunity to go to Egypt. But not only that, we traveled to the States a lot throughout the year. So I know we just came back from Seattle too.
Right. And I know in that same slide, I had my first trip with my best friend. We went to Vietnam, and that was the first trip with the company. Seeing how education and our finances has really impacted us, where we got to travel with our friends and family. That next picture was Israel. We had 5,000 people, I believe, going to Israel, and that was my first time traveling with my whole family, my whole immediate family. So that's four of us. My dad was working two full-time jobs. And, we never took a trip since elementary school, out of the country. And it's so exciting that I could do it with this campaign where we can learn about how, we work hard, we play hard. Not only we get to spend time learning about our finances, but, let's make sure we can change our life and create happy moments.
Yes,
And
definitely.
yep, and that was also Spain and Portugal in that last picture. But I think the most important part of financial education is actually the knowledge and the confidence building that we have. So in the next slide, I do have, the impact of financial education. It has helped me, be a part of a community who is wanting to put other people up, build them up, build the confidence, and not just our financial intelligence, but feel confident in where we are. To a point where I'm not only just learning for myself, but I've actually done workshops live in companies. I've done it for national webinars, and we had like over 300 people come on in our first national live session in COVID. But I think over here, this is our picture on the left side. This is actually the young adults in the West Coast side. So West Coast young adult leaders, we came in and we took a picture, and it's so great to be a part of this group. People who want to learn about finances. Because do you know what the average age of a financial advisor is?
No, I actually don't.
It's about age 55. So imagine, a lot of people traditionally, what kind of experience they have keeping up with the digital world, with all the new trends. I know they do their great job, but, we just want to also bring up the younger generation so that we can also feel empowered in our finances. So, it's so awesome that I could be and have that picture with them this past week. And on that right side, I do have some of my group and team and family who went to Texas together to our annual convention to just talk about how do we bring up financial education and really impact families sharing this in a mainstream campaign.
Yes. Wow, those are some great photos. And I truly agree with you too that, our generation is going to impact all the generations to come. And to hear about a financial advisor, average age is 55, I think it's so important that our generation is learning now and how we can, impact even people older than us, but the future generation to come. So, Brandon, tell me about some of the statistics you have for us.
Yeah, the first statistic I have up for everyone is actually on the slide. It's about how we have 79% of members of the millennial and Gen Z generation, they get their financial advice and their resource and knowledge from social media. I think it's so crazy, right?
No, that is so true. I mean, I have TikTok myself. I scroll throughout the day and I see a lot of advice regarding finances, which I think is so great. But also, how legit is this advice too? And when it comes down to money and how we work so hard for it, of course, I would hope to receive legitimate advice, but it is all over TikTok and social media, like you said.
Right. And we got to think about how many of these people, they call themselves financial gurus. Are they professionals? Do they have that industry experience? Do they have that license? Because, finance is a highly regulated industry. For us, we have to get our license to be able to help people because you work hard for your money. And let's make sure you have a trusted person. So it's not just making sure you get the most reliable resource, but you get the accurate resources and you keep updated with all the new things that are happening. And the other two statistics that we have over here is 60% of Americans now living paycheck to paycheck. That was actually as of February 2023. And that's crazy, staggering, because I think when I first started in this campaign, teaching families financial education 7 years ago, that number was 33%.
Wow.
33%, 40%, it jumped, then more than half today, right? And I know the number was going down right after COVID, but still really high. And I hope that this also connects with the lack of financial literacy costs. How it can cost many people about $10,000. They're losing out on maybe potential gain. They're losing out on costs and fees. So what can we do so that we can feel on track to our financial goals?
Yeah, so, with everything that you have shared too and all those statistics, what are some solutions to help us stay on track?
Yeah, that's a great question. We have the financial foundation. So I do want to show you guys how do we have a game plan to build our financial life. When we save and build up for our future, we want to start off with that first layer on the bottom called proper protection. We got to protect our biggest asset. We got to protect our health, our ability to generate income. And then we can start working our way up from managing our debt, getting that to zero, having that proper savings, and then going up to your investments. Because this is a mixture of short-term and long-term goals. There's a proper method to do this. I'm not saying that we should do it one step at a time, but knowing our priorities so that we can feel that, okay, now I have a peace of mind going into my life every day. We work hard. I think people are they have great work habits, but do they have that saving habit and do they know where to put their money? I just think people are just losing out on that education and resources where they know, okay, what should I allocate? How much should I allocate for my savings and how far should I save before I do any investments and then put all my money in there?
Yeah, and starting off with the first layer that you're talking about, proper protection, I totally agree with you because, we know how to work hard for our money. And especially, you living in Hawaii, I feel like a lot of people who live in Hawaii have multiple full-time jobs. And if we work so hard for our money, we also have to learn how to protect our money as well. And I think starting off with that solid financial foundation of starting off with proper protection is super important. And I like how you said that we can work on all areas simultaneously too. It doesn't have to just focus on one area.
Yeah, I think it's just like a house. That's the way we say it is that, we go from the ground up. Who builds the ceiling first? Who builds the roof first? We got to make sure that there's a solid grounding and framework. So then we can go up and then we can feel more confident. We can walk happier. We can sleep better. Because I know, yeah, like you said, many people have multiple jobs. The question is not how many jobs we can get or how much money we can earn, but how much we can keep. right? And just like my parents, growing up to be comfortable was three full-time jobs. Even for me, I had full scholarship, but I got a part-time job and I did this campaign sharing with people. So I was doing two different things while in school so I could feel comfortable, stay afloat, and be able to start saving for my future.
Interesting. Yeah. So can you expand how the rate of return is important in growing our wealth?
Yes, rate of return. How can we double our money? And that is through the rule of 72. So I'm happy to share with you, this formula up on the screen is, rule of 72, or actually the wealth formula connects with that is how we can build up our wealth and money, regardless of how much money we have, little or small, we give it time for it to grow. And whether interest is good or bad, we still got to take into account inflation and taxes. Those are like two holes in our pocket. The cost of our dollar, the power of our dollar going down, and then taxes. We got to pay Uncle Sam, and that's what you're left with on your money. And this, goes hand in hand with all the other concepts that we're going to talk about today. Because, if we knew how to win, are we going to take the steps so that we can start building wealth and seeing, what can we maybe control or look into so we could have a little bit more advantageous financial life for ourselves.
Yeah. I love this wealth formula too and how it mentions time and us talking as Gen Zs, this is why I say it's so important to educate already at our age and to learn because we have a lot of time to grow our money, increase our money, protect our assets. But also if we are older, the time is now. There's never a perfect time. And I just think going to that whole entire wealth formula, it's a perfect solution in order to find out how we can increase our income.
Right? I think it's so important to know there is a key formula to build up our wealth. There's a key formula to build up our wealth. And it's about, okay, do we know these different areas? Because especially for us, we saw how time, we don't have that slide today, but time, we can see how it can be a huge impact. The longer that we put off saving, the more money we need to put in to catch up. And that could be double the money just to catch up, to be in the same place. But if we were to, okay, say today, let's start saving $10 a day. Maybe a lunch plate, or a few coffees a day. How much could that get us down the road?
Yeah. And I know earlier you were mentioning the rule of 72. So can you go in, explain to, me and others what is the rule of 72?
Yes, the rule of 72. So this one I'm so excited to share. I think this was actually one of the concepts that changed my life. So over here we have compounding interest. This is created by Albert Einstein, is seeing how our money can double. So if we see over here, the first slide, it talks about the number 72. And if you divide by the interest rate or the rate of return, that will show you how many years it will take your money to double. So if we take a look at 72, divide by 6% that will equal 12 years.
Mhm.
So let's say today we have about $10,000 and you put that down. If you put in an account that can give us 6%, then 12 years later, that 10 doubles to 20. Another
Oh,
12 years later, that 20 doubles to 40. But Shayna, 24 years later, we're probably like age 55. Is that enough to retire with?
probably no, not even probably not. No, it is not.
Right, that's barely someone's yearly income. So if you're to look at like a higher percentage, then if we say 10%, okay, 10%, 72 divided by 10 will equal 7.2 years. So that same $10,000, and we put that in at a 10% account. 7 years later, it'll about double, 10 to 20. 7 years later, 20 to 40, then 80, then all the way 29 years later, that 10 doubled to a total of 180,000. So, and then from 80 will double to about 160,000. Now, of course, 160,000 is much better than 40,000.
I
But
agree.
yeah, but really, what's the difference? It's just where we put our money and how much percent can change the growth of our money from 40,000 all the way to 160,000. That's about 4 times bigger. So, I think it's so important to know, where we put our money because Shayna, I think you maybe experienced this with amongst ourselves and our friends, our age. Where do people save their money?
Yeah, I totally agree. And I look at all these different areas of saving money, but where do we choose to allocate it? And going back to the wealth formula of where do we get a great rate of return to increase our wealth? So, with the rule of 72 and how you just, educated me, I know that's a great way to understand where and how fast my money will double. And I think this is a great tool in general to use to understand and show, yeah, where are we choosing to allocate our money?
Yes, because I think that it's not only about where we save our money, because are we reaching the goals that we have? So are we reaching the goals of if I put it in this account, is it gonna grow to my investment goals? Is it gonna meet my time frame? Or is as Rule of 72, it says that it can also not work for you, but could work against you too. So that same slide before, that can also talk about how our debt can tackle us. How can debt grow so fast? And imagine what is the interest rate on a credit card today? Average for our age group.
Average, Brandon, you are educating me so much. So can you let me know? Because I have no idea.
Because we come in and it's about like in the 20s. So if our interest rate is about 20% for our credit card, and if that's somewhat and if that's something we rely on a credit card, 20, 25%, that means that our interest and that money, that debt is going to compound so crazy compared to where we save and invest our money. So I think there's a huge dilemma in, where we're saving versus where we're borrowing our money. So, I think it's so good. I'm so happy that I could share that concept with Love 72. It doesn't not just work for us, but can work for against us. And just seeing how, we can start being a little bit more cautious and understanding, is this meeting our
I,
goals?
yeah, I definitely agree. And, going into that, can you share about the different tax brackets that we have? I know there's tax now, tax later, tax advantage. So, enlighten me. Share with me, like, what are the different tax brackets?
Yeah. So I know that as we start to save, it's also important to know how taxes can affect us. And it's because that, I'm not a tax preparer, I'm not giving any advice, but just from giving you concepts and understanding, awareness that there are three tax categories: tax now, tax later, and advantage. The tax now, you're gonna pay on these accounts where you put your money in there, you're gonna pay taxes like about every year. Tax later, the 401k, the IRA, those are ones where you put in your money pre-tax and then it's gonna grow tax deferred. But when you access, it's like income. Now you gotta pay taxes on it. And then you have tax advantage where you're gonna put your money into an account after tax dollars. You pay taxes, it's gonna grow tax deferred. But depending how you access it and what type of account it is, then you can get it at tax income tax free. So there's three different ways that we can put our money into an account and see how taxes are going to affect us. And I think it really depends on a person and their situation. I'm not going to say that we should stick to one scenario and one area, but depending on what your financial life is, what your income and your expenses, and what your goals are and what you believe in the outlook, that's when we can think about, okay, where should I put my money? How much should I allocate to what? And also diversifying, because diversifying could not just be different types of investment vehicles and what's growing, aggressively and conservatively, but also the tax rates, and because we don't know how much we're going to pay in taxes down the road. Is it going to be higher? Is it going to be lower? I can't tell you that, but it's great to just know how we can be prepared and diversify.
Yeah, I really like this screen too because it just shows um, all the different options of where we could also put our money. And like how you said, it's not a one size fits all. It's what's suitable and affordable for anyone. And yeah, I think, with learning from TikTok sometimes how it pops up on your screen with going back to your statistics. But I know Roth IRA is a big topic that a lot of people talk about. And, 401ks we hear a lot about too because of, our employer gives us that retirement plan. Can you further explain some of these, different tax buckets and what it does for you?
Yeah, like 401ks is a great option if you have an employer that can match you. You're getting really that free money, that benefit. And you can always talk to a properly licensed person to learn about these different accounts. And just seeing from what I know and what I learned in this campaign is also the different accounts. They have their drawbacks, they have their limits and their eligibility. So it all depends for each person because, maybe you want to save in this place, but you cannot. You need a certain employer to be with you. You need to only put up to a certain amount. You can't put more than what you wanted. So, that's when we need to figure out and identify what do we want and what can work for us because each person is different. So I suggest that we all find a way to get a personalized strategy for ourselves.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you for sharing more in detail about the different tax brackets. So, how can people get started about learning more about their finances?
I'm so happy to have these workshops, live and also online available for people to watch. So we do have the list of workshops I want to share with you. We have a total of 6 different workshops, and I think this is our second series. We've gone through different productions and publishing over the years. From when I first started this campaign, I've seen it grow from, how we can provide different topics from growing our wealth, managing our debt, all the way to, asset accumulation and estate planning. There's so many great topics. And, we offer these financial workshops at no charge. We want to invest our time in you guys because we believe that nobody cares more for your financial future than you are. No one knows more about yourself than you. And it's up to us to start, taking the time to, really understand how we can make money work for us because we know how to work for money. We know how to get a job, we know how to pay the bills, and to get another job to make sure we can stay on top of it. But are we making sure we're saving enough? Do we know the right concepts and rule of thumb so that we can feel, better on track for our financial future? So, I'm so glad that these are the 6 topics, and we do actually have additional topics that you may ask for, or anyone may ask on upon request. From Social Security to even college planning. I've done these workshops. We have it locally in Honolulu in our office in Kapiolani. But shoot a message to us, and we can be sure to connect them to not just a live workshop, but they can go to one online or even go to one nearby them from another financial center nearby them in any state. We have about 600 financial centers across North America. So, I'm so excited that we have these accessible for others.
Yeah, no, I totally agree because, me being in Oregon, born and raised in Hawaii, but I'm still able to expand my knowledge and learn more about finances because of course, technology these days. I'm, being able to use Zoom. But while these are some great topics that you have shared, and I think financial education is so important for everyone, especially young adults. And, you know, I don't know where I would be without learning about financial education. I'm not sure about you too, but it really has changed my life and the quality of my life as well. I know what it's like to, I going back to the financial foundation. I've been in situations where I was in a lot of debt and now being able to pay off my debt, I think it's definitely a great feeling, being educated at a young age. And I'm so grateful that you were able to share your knowledge as well, Brandon, you being a fellow Gen Z. And, I got some great nuggets from you.
Yeah, I'm so thankful to have you allow me to come onto your show and talk about National Financial Literacy Month. Because, even though there's a month dedicated to this should be something we are always constantly working on. I know people have their goals that they start off with, their financial resolutions, but where are we right now? I think that's why this month came about, because we want to check up on our life and see how far have we reached into our goal, and take the time to understand this, because we have such a wealth of knowledge to share. And I have so many other concepts I wish I could share with you and everyone tonight. But, we do have such limited time. And, that's why I hope people are able to reach out, take the time, and start to learn about their financial knowledge and resources out there. So, you guys can be sure to contact me. I do have my email and phone number available for everyone. So, if anyone has questions about, how they can get connected to a financial workshop, or just any general questions, I know anyone can ask either me or even you, Shayna.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, thank you again, Brandon, for being on the show. I learned so much from you, and I I'm sure we will see you again, or I will see you again. And yeah, I hope to see all of you at the next episode of Money Talks. I am Shayna Park, a Gen Z inspiring lives of liberties. Thank you.
Thank you so much for watching ThinkTech Hawaii. If you like what we do, please like us and click the subscribe button on YouTube and the follow button on Vimeo. You can also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn, and donate to us at thinktechhawaii.com. Mahalo.